Hi, welcome back to my channel, Mariah's Blog. I am so sorry it's been so long since I've made a video, but today I wanted to talk about someone I had posted like about 2 weeks ago on my Instagram of what people would like to see on my YouTube channel next. And someone asked me what I think a healthy relationship is from my point of view. And I just wanted to talk about that. Um, Honestly, um, it was kind of a difficult question for me because I've never really been in like a healthy situation, whether it was in a relationship, like dating someone, or even being a friend to someone or someone being a friend to me. Um, but if I had to talk about what I felt or what I feel is a healthy situation with friends, um, you kind of just like get to choose who you decide who you want to associate yourself with. Um, I've known my friends since high school, and we're still friends today. A lot of people that went to high school with people, they're not normally friends after high school, and that's okay. It just depends on how you treat people. It depends on what happens in their life as life goes on, because people grow, people they go through things, and they may not have the same bond with you as they did when you were in high school, or even if you met each other in preschool. As far as like dating relationships, I have noticed the biggest flaw of a relationship of someone dating is communication. If you don't have good communication, um, that's kind of a downfall of not just staying together, but for that person to want to be close to you, or to even like have a bond with you. And so if you communicate with someone, um, like to the point that you feel comfortable with them, and I mean comfortable, like you can talk to them about anything. It doesn't have to be something that they relate to. It doesn't have to be um, about football, which is sports. It doesn't have to be about food. It could be about anything. If you have like an idea that you just want to run past your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you want your partner to also be supportive. Your partner's not always going to support everything you do, but they should try to compromise. So if you have like a business goal, or you have something that's on your mind that you just want to like kind of spring on to him or her, um, just come out with it. Like, speak your mind. Don't be afraid to talk to the person you're with. They, like I said, they may not agree with everything that you're doing, but that's totally okay. Um, for me to give advice about communication, communication doesn't just deal with like talking to someone. You also have to build something called trust. If that person you're with, whether it's a friend or even in a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, married couples, doesn't matter. If you don't trust yourself enough to talk to that person, um, then that's something you need to work on personally on your own. Because sometimes people who have trust issues, it's not always they're not talking to you because they don't trust you. It's that they don't trust themselves. And sometimes it depends on what they've gone through in their past life, whether it was something to do with a previous relationship, whether it was a friendship or dating relationship, or it could be something that dealt with family. Family could have made them feel like, okay, like a sister, you tell your sister everything, or you tell your brother everything. And, they used to be that type of person where they run to mom and dad and tell them what you said. So then there's lack of trust. So if you're in a relationship with someone, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, or a friend, you have to have trust in yourself. And you have to trust yourself enough to talk to that person. I've noticed people talk about loyalty, and that's also something to do with trust. If you tell someone something that either is personal or something that happened to them tragically, and you kind of go back and you tell other people, then you don't have loyalty to that person. You're loyal, but you're loyal to a point. And you could think, oh, well, I just told that person because, I wanted them to know about you. But if it's something that was tragic that happened to you, make sure that the person that told you that information, make sure that they're comfortable enough for other people to know about whatever you talk to them about. Because sometimes it may not be something that person wants everybody in America to know. And I mean everybody, like it could be your friend, it could be your family. But you just need to like have trust for that person. If you don't have trust for that person, you don't have trust for yourself to trust that person, then it's not a healthy situation, whether, like I said, whether it's a friendship or whether it's a dating relationship or even a marriage. Like even with having boundaries for each other, you have to kind of set a few boundaries, what you expect and what you don't expect. But then at the same time, you have to also think logically. You can't just say, well, I'm going to do what I want. Because when you're in a relationship, you're putting yourself in a situation where you're with that person, but you have to think about, okay, if I go out with my girlfriends and he's at home by himself, like I'm going to stay out all night because I want to. But you have to think about him too. Like, if he's off for like a week or so and he wants to spend time with you, like you have to think about it and think to yourself, okay, I don't want to go out all night and leave him at home with kids or no kids or whatever. You need to spend time with him. Another thing about a healthy relationship is compromise. If he's the type of person to be at home on his days off with you, or she's the type of person to be at home on her days off, and you have to like, and you say like, oh, I want to get out of the house and I want to do this and that. You have to talk to your partner about it. You can't just wake up and say, I want to do this. Like, you have to make a plan to do it. If they're the type of person where they're kind of distant with you after so long, whether you've been married or you're like dating them, but if you're in a situation where all he wants to do is be playing his video games, you could say, hey, let's get out for a couple hours, let's go to the park, let's go to the pool, let's go do something together. But if he's the type of person that's like a homebody and he just rather work, stay home, play with his kids, whatever, that's fine for him to play with his kids. It's fine for him to hang out with you. But if you're the type of person that is more wanting to get out, wanting to have fun, wanting to explore, then let him know what you like to do. Don't just say something and then he doesn't get it. Or if he is playing video games, like find games that you all can play as a family. Even with friends too. Like if you and your girls want to get together, or you and your girls and your guys want to get together this weekend, make a plan. If he or she is tired of coming over and eating bonbons with you, come up with a plan of what you'd like to do. And even if that means getting out, I know it's hard right now because of the COVID and everything, but just still make a plan. Invite people over that don't have the COVID, number one, and they're not sick as a dog. So if they're sick, tell them to stay home. So if you want to get out with that person, let them know in advance. Or if they're the type of person to stay home and play video games all day, find video games that you all can play as a family. It could be a learning game, it can be a dancing game, or it can be a board game. Invite over your friends and, just kind of have fun with that. And that's all kind of like compromising. You may not like he plays video games, but he could love it all day. And same thing with cooking. If you're not a person that likes to be in the kitchen preparing different foods, or if you're not a big cook and he's in there cooking all the time, be in the kitchen with him and learn how to cook. Learn what he does, because what he does may not be what your mom used to do or what your sister did or what your friend is doing. So, be in, be kind of observant, with him. Just kind of know what you want from him, and he needs to know what he wants from you. And relationships can get old. If you kind of are like the routine, basic person, things get old. But if you kind of switch things up and you kind of put stuff out there, and he may be the type of person that not want to do everything that you want to do, but, at least you're trying. At least you're trying to let him know, like, hey, this is what I want to do. Let's do this. Another sign of a healthy relationship to me is honesty. You need to be honest, not just with him, but with yourself. If you see in your relationship that something doesn't feel right anymore, you need to be upfront with him. That's also part of communication. If he may not notice that you're distant, or he may not care that you're distant, but if you're honest with him and you talk to them, and like I said, it doesn't matter if it's a relationship, couples, or if it's a friendship. If you don't talk to them and tell them how you feel or what you feel, they're never gonna know how you feel. It may be just like that one time that you talk to him, but you literally need to keep telling him how you feel. And he may be like, oh, okay, I get it. You sound like like you're recording like a hamster on a hamster wheel. But it's okay. Because at least he knows that you're letting him know how you feel. And you have to feel comfortable in your own skin. And what I mean by that is, like, you have to feel comfortable enough, like, as if whatever is bothering you, you would normally go tell your mom or tell your sister or tell your best friend. If you don't feel comfortable enough to tell that person that you're sleeping next to, like, how you feel, then there's something wrong. You should feel comfortable. It doesn't matter if you've known them forever. Like, if you don't feel comfortable enough to talk to them or to be around them or to be in their presence, then don't try anymore. Like, let them know, hey, I can't do this anymore, and it's done. Another thing that I had thought of for a healthy relationship is sometimes you need space. And I know that sounds crazy, but because you're so used to being, whether it's with your friend or being in a relationship with someone, you're used to seeing them every day. You're used to being around them every day. It doesn't matter if you both are working, if you're both taking care of your kids. Sometimes you just need space. And it can be space, like, in a different, like, you can, like, pack your belongings and go to a different place. Or space can be just kind of doing something else in the house. He may not know you need space, and he might be like, oh, well, make me a sandwich. Well, you can still make him a sandwich, but you're still going to want that space. Doesn't mean, like, you are short with him in conversation to get his attention that you need space, but just kind of take time for yourself to get your thoughts together, to kind of figure out what you want from him. And it may not be what you want from him, but it may be what he wants from you that you don't know that he wants from you. And it's okay. Like, sometimes, like, space is okay. Yes, at first, to hear from, your friend, or even to hear from your partner, like, oh, you need space. Like, you might feel like, well, what did I do? But it's okay to have mental space, basically. If you have mental space from them, that's okay. You don't have to have physical space, which is, getting up and leaving the situation. If you need that, it's okay. It's absolutely fine. And it's okay at times to fight with that person. But if the fight is the same fight all the time, then you have to ask yourself, this is what I really want from this person, which is also gets kind of tiring on a person. And, even with friends, if you've known them forever and you guys are still talking about something or having a fight, that happened Monday, and you're still having the same fight on Thursday, and you're having the same fight, in the beginning of the new year, then that's a little much. That means you've had built up anger for that person for a minute now. And you're just slowly, it's like vomit of the mouth. Like, you're just slowly telling them, oh, I hate you, or I've always hated you, or I've always felt this way about you. And, yes, they're going to sit there shocked because they didn't know you felt that way. But, as long as you let them know. And he may be the one screaming, hollering, going crazy, and you may be the person where you're just like, okay, that's how you feel. All right. But that's also okay to have that type of a fight. And yeah, after a while, he may look at you like, well, she's not really going crazy like normal. And, and we don't have to go crazy, ladies. Like, we don't have to, be at the level as a man or even as your girlfriend or whatever. Like, you can still have a fight but not say much. And I know that'll be more difficult for people to hear, but, you may have a fight with them and they may not have much to say as a response, but at least you're getting out how you feel about that person. Another healthy sign of a relationship is you can be yourself. Like, you can go out and you can go out with him and you don't have to feel embarrassed by him. If you go out and someone knows, like, you're married to him or they know you're married to her, like, you should go out and still be able to be yourself. If you have to kind of be quiet around your friends or your family, that's not a good sign. Like, if they knew you since birth or they've known you since high school and you used to be the person to say, hey, what's up? And then you're kind of like, hey, how you doing? Then, your mom may say something, not that night or not that day, but eventually, like, it's just a mother's instinct. She's going to, like, call you or text you and say, hey, I noticed when you were at so-and-so's party with the family that you weren't really talking. Is everything okay? And another thing you need to think about in a relationship to kind of keep it healthy is you need privacy. I know at first, like, girls and guys are so happy to have found someone, so they put them all over social media. They put them on their Facebook, they put them on Instagram, they put them on their Snapchat. Social media is nice, but social media can be very toxic. So sometimes, like, if you start having problems behind closed doors and you've already posted him and you had a baby not so long ago and they know you had a baby with him, and they're like, well, wait a minute, you're not posting about him getting this job, or you're not posting about you hanging out with him at the ice cream shop. Well, it's because people don't need to know every little thing about your relationship. You can be in a relationship for 45 years and no one knew your relationship because you kept it to yourself. You never put out every little thing about them. You never, like, talked about him, and that's okay. You don't have to broadcast every little thing. If they started with you on a YouTube channel, or you used to see Snapchat videos of them and now you don't see that anymore, it's not because they broke up. Always. It's not always because they broke up. It's just because they have decided to keep their relationship or their relationship problems to themselves. Doesn't mean that they're not going to talk to you now, or they're going to be very quiet about what's going on in their marriage or their friendship. It just means that everything doesn't have to be broadcasted. Like I said, I've been friends with my friends since high school, and I after so many years of knowing her, I have considered her not just my friend, I've considered her as my family. When we first were in high school and even after high school was over, like, we used to broadcast literally everything we did. Like, we talked about going to the club, or we talked about going to the mall, but now, like, we don't broadcast everything. Like, I put her in one of my last YouTube videos, and it was about us going to go see the Christmas lights in Denver. But I didn't have her on camera, just because of the sake of her privacy. But, like I said, we don't broadcast everything anymore. And that's okay. And people grow. So if you notice, like, your friend is distant with you or barely talking to you or want to hang out with you, that's okay. It's just, it hurts at first because you're so used to hanging out with that person, just like in a relationship, as being with, in a coupled relationship. But what you have to understand is, like, that person's gonna grow. You may not realize it, but time kind of goes by, and you're not always gonna be as close to that person as you were in high school or after high school, and that's okay. You just have to understand that, especially if, like, they've been working since they were in high school and they're still working today, and you're used to, like, hanging out with them every single Friday or every single weekend or every other day, like, that's not going to be their schedule anymore with you. They're going to definitely, and also, you're so used to having them around that, you start picking fights with them because you're used to that routine, that situation with them, that comfort with them. And it doesn't, you can still talk to them, you can still hang out with them, but it doesn't have to be every single day. It doesn't have to be all the time. You can still, be cool with them, and still say you're friends, still say you're family. Even family members don't hang out every single day or every other day. Even if you live down the street from your sister or your cousin or whoever, like, you don't have to see that person every day. Now, they're the type of person I want to come over because you do live down the street for them and they want to come over for a plate of food, that's okay. But if they are trying to come over every single day, not just for food, like, you have to ask them, hey, what's up? Like, why are you here every single day? Like, I love you, but why are you here every day? And that, like I said, that's also part of communication. It doesn't have to be with a friend. It doesn't have to be with a relationship of someone you're dating. It can be with your family. But those are my tips, my views on what I see a healthy relationship is. You can still say you're close to somebody, but you can also text them. A text is a lot faster than a letter at times. Or sometimes writing a letter is faster than a text, because sometimes, depending on where you are, your phone can act up. So you can write them a letter, and I think they'll find it crazy, like, hey, we live right down the street, why are you writing me a letter? But, just still be communicative with that person. If you communicate with that person, tell them what's up, tell them how you feel, then that's you showing them that not only did you care, but that you're willing to make a situation work out. If you don't wish to be in communication with them, doesn't matter who it is, avoiding them is not the best thing. Try in some type of polite way to let them know, hey, I don't wish to be talking to you anymore. You didn't do anything wrong, but I just don't wish to talk to you anymore. And that's okay too. But once you make that decision, decide for yourself. If you just need some time to yourself, which is, again, space, take that space. But if you really don't want to have anything to do with that person anymore, block them. Whether you have them on social media, in your phone, block access from them. And I know that's tough, especially if it's family or friends or someone you're dating. But I will save that for like another video on the blocking situation, because I've had to do that with myself, blocking people, which sometimes it's tough, especially when it has something to do with family. Because especially like if you've grown up with them, you've known them since birth, you've known them since you were 9 years old, since you graduated high school, whatever the case is, you've known them for a minute. So blocking off family it can be good and it can be bad. The good in it is that you have kind of like showed yourself, well, that was hard, but I had no choice to do it, and like I said, I'll save this information for another video about blocking people. But yeah, if you have trust for yourself and you have trust in the person you're with, doesn't matter if it's your friend, doesn't matter if it's a relationship for you, if you have trust, that's like the biggest thing. And if you have good communication, if they're so distracted playing their video games or talking on the phone or talking to so-and-so, then that's not good communication. So you need to build some type of communication skill with that person and let them know how you feel. You have to have communication. You have to have trust. You need to be honest with that person. If you cannot be honest with them, there is something wrong. If you feel deep inside, well, I can't talk to him or I don't want to start anything, having a conversation about communication